What's up, everybody? I'm Ian Burke here with Chronic Cannabis. Today we're doing our first podcast, episode number 1. I'm here with...
I'm Vinny. Got the homie.
Anthony Capola here.
Phil, Prism Glassworks.
And today we're just going to be letting you guys know what we're all about, getting to know each other, and just kind of, going in on some stories, kind of how we got into the industry, what we're so passionate about, and kind of just what's new with it. So I want to start off with, we just got legalized in New York last year.
Yeah, about time.
Exactly, about time for sure, for sure.
That's facts. We've been waiting a long time.
Long overdue, definitely. So what are you guys most excited for the legality?
Honestly, for me, it's the dispensary part. Like, I'm looking forward to being able to walk into a shop and right in town. That's my favorite part. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, honestly, I've been kind of jealous of Cali and even Massachusetts, just going over the border and seeing shops open. It's kind of like, damn, you guys can buy weed here and not have to hide it. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And what you looking forward to the most?
Just the comfortability around the public about weed and just the decriminalization aspect. There's so many people that have done time for marijuana. Those people have the opportunity to open dispensaries and completely different from what was there 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice not to have to look over your shoulder every time you take a rip. It's kind of,
Definitely,
yeah.
Just be able to step outside and spark up a J right out front. Like, when in Boston, I've never experienced something like that. Everyone just smoked.
Exactly. Yeah, we were just outside in Boston last weekend. We were at the convention in Boston, and everyone was just lighting up on the sidewalk. No one was really tripping.
Freedom of persecution is an amazing thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very liberating.
For sure. Yeah. That's how it felt too when I found out that it was legalized. It's like, yeah, we're finally almost free.
Yeah.
Just relax, not worry about it so much.
Yeah.
For sure.
We don't have to hide what we're actually selling or making anymore.
Exactly.
We used to have to have tobacco use only stickers on everything. We had to be real militant with the language people use in here.
Yeah.
People would come in and be like, "Oh, I need a bong." He'd be like, "Oh no, it's a water pipe." Now I'm like, "Yeah, you want a bong?"
Yeah. You want me to try?
I never even thought of that aspect of like how like shops have been around for so long.
Oh yeah.
And like even over time, the lingo of everyone has just progressed and being more comfortable and letting everything out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think legality is going to help your business? Do you think it's going to bring new customers in?
I mean, it already has for sure. So yeah.
Awesome.
The answer to that is a yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we for sure think it's going to bring a lot of business to us as well. We're super excited. With the new legality, right now, you can only possess it and consume it. They're still working on the regulations for selling. We're waiting for the sort of applications to release, and so is everyone else who's ready to open up shop in New York. It's going to be super competitive. There's a lot of people from the West Coast just coming out and kind of trying to do their thing that they did on the West Coast here, but we're trying to just really bring our New York kind of personality to the game and really just show the world that the East Coast is where it's at, not the West Coast. The East Coast is where the good weed's at. So.
And that's a good point you said with New York personality, because everyone come over from West Coast and try and make what they want over here, and it's not the same. We live here, we live this lifestyle on this side, so like we can run it up definitely.
Well, I think a lot of people we lost to Washington and Oregon, Colorado, all the residents that moved out there to be part of the grow game and are starting to move back.
Exactly.
The experience and knowledge that they can start growing from New York State.
Yeah. And the thing too is Cali right now, they're having tons of trouble with their legal market just because the black market is kind of doing better than the legal market. A lot of shops are going under, a lot of local shops is kind of being...
Well, I mean, let's talk about where that trouble really is coming from. That's coming from illegal, the cartels that are growing on public land, doing public water, doing devastation to our national forests, and then undercutting all the people that waited in line and paid their taxes and paid their dues. I think that's probably the real issue,
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely an issue. It's definitely something that we hope doesn't, play a huge factor in New York, but it definitely will. There will be things going on behind the scenes like there always is. But right now, we're trying to just do our own thing, could make our, the right connections we need to make, talk to the right people, and do it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've really kind of been, focused on, this has always been the goal, has been opening a shop and being able to really push our brand, which is quality smoke. So we've been doing it with the glass, doing it with everything else we do. So now we're really excited to kind of just get in and be able to actually, sell weed. Sell weed legally, for sure. So yeah, the other thing too is COVID is kind of really a thing of the past right now. No one's really talking about it anymore, but I kind of think almost the popularity of weed kind of grew during that time when everyone was at home, not doing anything, but everyone had a lot more free time just to relax and be themselves.
That's definitely for sure. It was almost like you were encouraged to save the world by just staying home and hanging out and doing nothing.
Exactly, no, for sure. Yeah, we kind of, I think COVID, I wouldn't say it helped for say the weed game, but it definitely kind of, like you said, a lot more people I think tried it and kind of, were more understanding of it during that time, because a lot of people are going through anxiety, depression, all types of things. So we do think, I believe that weed really helped a lot of people through COVID, and maybe a lot more people got exposed to it, being home with certain family members that might use it. So, COVID, it did have its negative impacts, obviously, and it was devastating to the world, but for the weed industry, it might have honestly opened a lot of eyes and really.
It was beneficial for us. Our website sales jumped through the roof. We always equate that with the changing the seasons in the winter and the hotter summer months. People are usually in their home, their AC, and we can actually see a tick in bong sales. And same thing with COVID, people are inside, just hunkering down and ticking bong sales right up. So
yeah, for sure.
It's an interesting correlation.
Yeah, it really is.
For sure. Yeah, no, so there's good and bad things to everything. So, at least we can find the bright side of that. And, we've been doing our thing. One way we've been getting out is we've been doing a lot of events. Chronic has been hosting not hosting a lot of events, but we've been hosting vendor tables at a lot of events. One of the more recent events we did in Albany was we went to the House of Kicks convention at the Albany Cap Center.
How was that?
That was really exciting. It was our first real event in the 518 where we got to really connect with people we already knew as supporters. Because a lot of our supporters have been trying to show their support, but we don't have a physical location.
Yeah.
Our drops are limited to, you might not want that product or that drop. So it's kind of like getting out there and showing everyone what we had and what we're about, and just getting to talk to people and to know people.
Yeah.
I really love going to the sneaker conventions just because it's all about the culture.
Big crossover between sneakerheads and glassheads.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. For sure. We'll pop out to a sneaker event and we could have no sneakers on the table and we'll still have a line at the table because, like you're saying, it's a huge crossover.
Yeah.
The industries definitely like to, do their thing. Another event we went to recently too was the Boston one.
Oh, that was a blast. The 3-day event over in the Heinz Convention Center. I've only been to Boston maybe like once or twice. That was huge.
Yeah.
So many vendors, like every aspect of the marijuana industry you could think of. From literally attorneys to light fixtures to cultivations to harvesting. It was awesome.
To dispensaries,
Literally
yeah.
straight dispensaries.
Met a lot of dispensaries that weekend.
Whole lot of connections.
I never been to anything like that. It was a trade show, more or less, a convention, but there was still a lot of people there that were coming to meet the vendors, not businesses just talking to each other, networking. It was a lot of locals from Boston. There were so many people there from Boston and just the surrounding areas. We weren't expecting to do a lot of retail, but we just had the recent Fuzzy Patch merch drop.
Is that what this is right here?
Yes.
Right here on the
Just
sweat.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Fuzzy Patch.
Who's your fuzzy patch?
He's got the OG.
He's got the OG, all right.
He's got the OG. He's still rapping.
That's great. That definitely flew. I remember, the Fuzzy Patch, the yellow one, that was the major show out.
Yeah.
I know another piece, glass, that dragon piece, that skeleton one.
Sure.
That one was a major show out.
Showstopper, yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. We actually brought some of Prism's glass out to the event, so that was a huge, eye catcher. Everyone
You
was.
always need someone to make people stop and
Yeah,
go, damn.
Exactly.
At least to come over and see what's up, and then we can give them what's going on.
A lot of people did come over and stop and say, damn.
Yeah.
And then they would tell them the price of some stuff, and
And then they go,
damn.
damn.
And then they'd be like, well, it makes sense, it makes sense, kind of thing, yeah.
Half of them didn't even know that like it was functional, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the gig, right? Trying to hide all that, trying to make a sculpture that doesn't really look like a pipe, but yet will still function, get you high.
It's like every piece that you made was functional.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be. Yeah, I'm definitely a utilitarian artist. I like my things to have a purpose.
Yes,
You know,
for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I still make the occasional ornamental thing that just kind of sits on the shelf and looks pretty. But I would like that thing that sits there on the shelf and looks pretty also function as something, whether it's a pipe or a goblet, flower vase, whatever.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. That's kind of like the beauty behind the art. It's like you can use it and you can.
Or you can look at it.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So speaking of beauty of the art, we're gonna do a little segue in here into some stories, some background stories. We want to let you guys get to know us a little better as the Chronic Gang. So we feel it would only be right to share some stories about some of the first times we've smoked. Throwing it way back. Vince, you wanna get it started?
Oh yeah, I'll start us off, alright. So I'm not gonna go back to first time I smoked, but I'm gonna go to maybe first time I got high. So I was a little young, and I had just got home off the school bus, honestly, maybe like 14, 13, something like that. And I went into the fridge. I got older brothers, they do their thing. I go into the fridge, I see a good looking brownie right there, looking real good, I'm not gonna lie. I decided to devour about half of it and give it like an hour. I'm sitting on the couch completely I'm like not panicking, but I'm confused. So I'm like, oh, I got like a blood sugar problem or something. So I start killing chips. That's my first instinct, to start just destroying a bag of chips.
You got the munchies.
Yes, I just had the munchies, and I had no clue, and then I ended up just falling asleep, and my brother comes home and just bugged on me, had no clue what was going on. I was like 13, he's like, Vinny is so high on the couch. So then he goes, takes the brownie out of my hand, because I literally fell asleep with half of it in my hand. That's how baked I was. And he goes into the room and calls my oldest brother, and my older brother just completely loses it and just starts dying. He doesn't even care. He's just like, just go tell him straight up, and he's Vinny, Mitch was just like, just go tell him, and he just couldn't handle himself. It was too funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that's my first time.
I couldn't even imagine eating an edible for my first time.
Especially one that my older brother made, probably. they were a little more experienced than me at that time, to say the least.
The homemade edibles hit the best, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was a little funky tasting brownie.
Yeah, a little homemade brownie out.
Kind of green looking.
Yeah, I was a little confused eating it, honestly. I was like, this isn't that good,
You want to be nice,
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And you want to go next?
No, I really don't have anything too crazy. No, I was probably about 14, 15 when I first started smoking. I really wasn't doing what I was thinking. I wasn't as great as I thought it was. I didn't truly start getting high and experiencing the good feeling of weed until I was 16, 17 years old. I'm rolling joints and enjoying weed too. But my buddy comes over with a grinder, like, hey, we're gonna do this for your first time. He's all hype about it and everything. And truly, I wasn't high. I didn't feel anything at all. So
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people can relate to that first story too.
Yeah, or you don't even know what to feel kind
You
of
don't
thing.
know what to
exactly.
expect,
Yeah.
and you're really not high.
But like you were saying, you kind of have to grow into it more or less. You kind of have to see how it affects you, because it affects everyone differently. So yeah,
For real.
like you're saying, until you were 16, 17, then you really started getting into it for sure.
Especially on your first time.
I'll never forget, I got this little raw kit, and then, I had the filters, the papers, and just the grinder, and doing it by myself and really making my own product, rolling it up, getting good at it. That's when I really started to love weed.
Yeah, I feel that.
It took a while, but
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of fun, especially back in the day, having to hide it from my mom and all that. That was one of my favorite aspects of
Oh, really?
It was
Trying to hide it.
I'm trying to hide it. Like the little rush from hiding and sneaking in the house.
Sure.
It was so much fun.
For sure.
Funny shit.
Yeah.
See, I do remember the first time I smoked. I don't remember the first time I got high. So like you guys were just saying, like, I remember always telling me, "Oh, you're not gonna get high the first time. It's gonna take you 2 or 3 times." Okay, whatever. The first time I smoked after school, I was in like 6th grade.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Whatever. How old are you? 13, 12, something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking
Right
right about there.
And neighbor of mine, because we used to walk down the walk to school. So we walked home together and just do a little bit of language. And we were, sitting on my parents' front porch, like, oh, I got some weed. And I'm like, okay. So and I pulled out his wood pipe and we smoked and I didn't really feel anything. Next thing I know, he pulled out some LSD from his belt buckle and he's like, "Oh, try this today too."
He stepped it up.
I'm like, all right, I'm not quite there yet. He was a little bit older. He was like 2 years older.
One step at a time.
Yep.
But I just remember that, and I think that was more. I focused more on that at the time than me getting high for the first time. Like, Jesus Christ, girl just like pulled a bunch of acid out of it. Just fuck.
Casual.
And I think I got high with him like a couple more times. Because he was obviously the person that had weed in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I think probably like my younger years, as far as like memory that I really kind of enjoy, was me and my best friend used to have a spot in the woods right between our 2 houses. There used to be all these little paths and trails in between all the houses in the neighborhood. And there's this one little like hill we used to call it the mound, and we call each other after our homework was done. You're on 6 o'clock, "Oh, meet you in the mound," And we named it after the Fish song. It's one of our favorite Fish songs from the Rift album. So, "Oh yeah, meet you in the mound." That way our parents didn't know.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever. But that was middle school for me. Just meeting my buddy at the mound, getting high, smoking our swag.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. It's all about
more
those
beaners than there was buds.
Yeah.
But that was great.
That's the way it goes. You gotta learn somehow.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere, kind of thing. And that's what it really is all about when you first start. Is kind of just sneaking into those spots, and just when you're done with your stuff, you get to go smoke with your friends.
There's a real ritual when you're younger.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's a lot. And it's not even a lot less casual, but you're saying it's more of a ritual kind of thing. And that's the thing with YouTube. It's like you're saying, hiding it kind of makes it more of a ritual when you get to do it. It's like, okay, like now is my time. I get to smoke for sure.
Yeah, I remember you was telling me like when you were younger back in high school, you didn't sneak out of the house until like 11 o'clock or later every night.
My parents would go to bed, and then I would just wait.
Puff.
Yeah,
exactly. So and then you had to wake up. Obviously, we got school the next morning.
Yeah.
My boy always exhausted.
Sometimes I would wake up early to smoke too.
Exactly.
Sometimes you gotta
try to get out there like, "Oh, I'm gonna go catch the school bus real early."
Yeah,
exactly.
we're
You're coming inside at like 6 in the morning. Like, where are you coming from?
like,
just taking a little morning walk.
It's great. It's beautiful out today.
For sure. But so my first time, man, going all the way back, I think I was 15 on the dot, sophomore year of high school. So I got in a little later, but all my friends were kind of, telling me that they were smoking and I wanted to do it. It was kind of just like, I've always kind of wanted to try it kind of thing, but I didn't really want to try it. And so one of my friends was like, "We're doing it tomorrow night. Like, you're coming over to my house." Yeah. So I had ski club the night before.
Oh, there you go.
Hell yeah.
And my plug was also in ski club. And so I was like, "Yo, let's just meet on the mountain. Like, let me get the weed on the mountain." And so, my first place I ever bought weed was at the top of the ski mountain, and that was kind of cool. It's kind of
weed and skiing are hand.
exactly, yeah.
No, that's
So I was too scared to smoke it and ski the first time. I was like, I'm not smoking right now.
That was a good choice. I'm not gonna lie.
So I had to bring it home. My parents were picking me up from ski club, and I didn't know how to hide the smell. I was just very young.
Just didn't know what
and
to do.
uneducated is the way I put it. And so I just put it in like 15 different Ziploc bags and put it in my backpack and hope it didn't smell. It didn't smell. It was probably some goof anyway.
Some blockberry.
Yeah. And we kind of just rolled up and we smoked in my friend's barn, and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of just one of those things where it was something I'd was excited to do, and then when I smoked it, it kind of was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I just remember, this is the one thing I remember is after that first joint, we kind of just, ate and passed out. But then the next day I woke up and all it was like, yo, like, that was fun. I kind of want to do that again. Yeah, I kind of want to do that again. So next weekend, he came over, we smoked at my house, kind of thing, And so it was kind of like one of those things where I just naturally, I just enjoyed it, It was kind of one of those things where it really just kind of like took a hold where I really liked it. And then I also saw the social aspect too back then.
Oh,
It was,
yeah.
let's go smoke, let's go hang out and smoke. So it's kind of one of those things where the sessions kind of made my high school experience where, let's go out and lunch and then, take some rips.
You make a lot of friends when you smoke weed.
Exactly, yeah.
Seriously, you meet a whole different group of people than you would expect.
I've made more connections and just networking from just being a stoner than anything else, honestly, It's one of those things that brings everybody together from all different backgrounds kind of thing too. I've met people that I never would have met if I never tried it, never embraced it, for sure. But yeah, so kind of talk about backstories. Let's get into glass blowing a little bit. How did you get into glass blowing?
The way I got into glass blowing was I was in high school, and I was doing a lot of tour with the Grateful Dead and Fish and jam bands and stuff like that. I just had my license and travel wherever I could around the Northeast to go see these bands and be a part of the experience and the culture. And part of that culture at the time in the mid '90s, glass pipes were just starting to become popular on Fish Tour, and were starting to become a commodity.
Yeah. New wave.
Yeah, and I've always been a kind of a crafts person growing up. My family owns a shoe store, so I was always around shoe equipment and machines and sewing equipment my whole life. And I had a knack for sewing at the time, so I was making a lot of protective pouches and stuff like that I could sell on tour to get my tickets or whatever. Eventually I was taking a business law class, and we had to take a job shadow. I was like, I want to be a glass blower. The guy's like, I'll see what I can do. So, it was my senior year. It was kind of a fluff class anyway. So halfway through the semester, he finally found a glass blower, and so this guy named Mr. Jones, we call him Dr. Jones. He used to work up at RBI, and he also worked at GE. So I did a job shadow with him for a couple of days, wrote my report and all that, graduated high school. Graduated early, so I graduated in January. I was able to get into a class in February at Corning Museum of Glass in Corning, New York. And that was kind of like a graduation present to me.
Okay.
So I went to this week-long class there. Got the itch, got the bug. And then came home and I was like, well, now what the fuck do I do? Where the hell do I learn this? And somebody's like, I think they have a class at Hudson Valley you can go take. So I looked into it. They didn't have a class. So I created a class.
Okay.
So I called Dr. Jones.
That's how you do it.
And I was like, how do you feel about if I can get 8 to 10 people to sign up for a class, for a night class at Hudson Valley, would you come teach it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So that's what he did, and I just used that as an opportunity just to fuck around. I wasn't interested in the class.
Yeah.
So he taught the 10, 12 people that I got to take the class, and I was just sitting there playing and messing around, just trying to figure it out. And then a week later, my grandmother, another high school graduation gift. I was supposed to get $1,000 for, supposed to go to college, something educational. How she put it. She was very traditional. She didn't really care about college. She just wanted me to make sure that, little financial troubles, borrowed another $500 from somebody else, made some more fucking pipes, paid that guy back, and here we are 20 some years later. I guess there's a lot more to the story,
of course,
a lot of ups and downs, but that's kind of the gist of like my first year. I had a really close friend, Chaz, who lived up the street from me. He was really into glass blowing as well. He really wanted to know about it. So we set up a little studio in my parents' basement, just big enough for 2 people, a hookah, and a third person to make sure the hookah was lit. So two of us would be able to blow glass with a hookah hose in our mouth, and another person would just light it. And me and him would just teach each other stuff. Like, I'd figure something out, and I'd show him, he'd figure something out, he'd show me, and we'd be like, oh shit, like, I made fucking 5 spoons an hour this time. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna make 6 spoons this hour. You know what I mean? Like, just, just had a good fucking time doing that.
It's always good to have someone at stage 1 that's pushing you to do more, because when you're at that point, there really isn't anyone there teaching you or pushing you to do more. So when you have someone that's just into it, just to be into it, like you were, that's always.
It was both the same skill levels.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no like, he's been doing this for half the time. Why is he better than me? It was like none of that animosity or anything like that. It was just like the 2 of us just trying to learn this thing that we both wanted to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really what it's all about too, is like the passion of just wanting to learn, wanting to get better at something. That's kind of what we say Chronic is all about, is getting better every day and living that lifestyle where you're living your passionate life, where you're doing what you love. So for sure, it's always great to hear someone that's doing what they love, like, and actually we're passionate about it from day 1 kind of thing, because that's what we do here too. So it's great.
Then you guys can see it. Brands are always fucking out there. I see yours. Hustling.
We're about it for sure. So, hustlers recognize hustlers kind of thing, for sure. We've done a lot of work with Phil. I'd say over a year now, probably getting close to 2. Way back when we broke our first bong, we were looking up online. We're looking up where to get your bong fixed. And so we kind of realized that you need to go to a glass blower.
The Jared's bong.
It was Alex's bong.
Oh, okay.
It was Alex's bong.
The roar?
Yeah, the roar. It was the roar that broke. I still have that roar. It's actually been fixed twice because I broke it once too. But I had to connect, so I wasn't stressing when I broke it the second time. I was bringing it to Prism,
Phil even fixed my bong too.
Exactly. He's fixed that. He's fixed pretty much all of us.
That's a lot of fucking balls.
Hey man, it's a great connection to have. Obviously, too, there's a lot of aspects to the glass industry. There's kind of what you do, which is the functional pieces. There's also a lot of just glass art too. Glass blowing has been going on forever. It's been
Back to the Egyptians.
Exactly, it's an ancient art. So it's always changing. It's always got these new waves coming. It's kind of its own culture, the glass community.
In fact, I think the Egyptians were the first people to make a glass pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
What do you think they were smoking?
Probably opium.
Yeah. They're way ahead of us there. That's hilarious. No, I didn't know that. Learned something new. But so how do you think the industry is changing now? Kind of modern. It's really ramping up. I feel like with the legality of cannabis and.
Oh man, which in the glass industry, cannabis industry,
I would say
head shop industry,
on
which
your aspect of it with the just the pipes alone, and even like just smaller things like the dab nails.
Well, from the glass blowing side of it, things are changed because like we have all the dispensaries, right? So they don't they're not like your traditional head shop where they already understand the culture.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these dispensaries have to be taught.
They do.
The culture, and it's very disappointing. Because I thought I was just going to be able to walk in and be like, here's my pipes, buy my stuff, just like I do at every head shop, because they're already educated in it.
Yeah.
And I have to explain to them what a bubbler does. It's like, you're selling weed.
Yeah.
You don't know what a fucking bubbler does?
It really is kind of one of those things. Yeah, that's what we were realizing. at Nikan was that a lot of the dispensaries coming over, they were asking us about wholesale, but then we were talking about the glass and they didn't get it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It's like if you're going to be selling a consumable product, you should have the proper tools to consume that product.
Yeah,
and guess what? Not a lot of people know how to roll fucking joints. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A pipe is really freaking simple to use.
Oh,
you
super
know,
easy,
you
super
take off a
easy.
bud, you shove it in there, and you light it. It's not much more to it. And so the fact that you have to even teach these dispensaries how to do that is a cause for alarm.
Yeah,
It is for sure. But we think that the industry is very young. You know, it's a lot of not
The legal market is young.
exactly, not necessarily the people either. It's just kind of like, you know, they've only been doing their thing. A lot of cannabis smokers, they weren't educated because they couldn't be. Like you were saying before, with the legality, a lot of what comes with it is education too.
Sure.
So it's like a lot of people are more or less going to be enlightened now, just to not only a lot more quality cannabis, but a lot more just the whole culture around it. And that's what we like to show people is that weed isn't just it's just smoking weed. There's a whole culture to it. It's a whole
It's a lifestyle.
exactly.
Because like you were saying, like some people in these dispensaries don't even know how to use it. Like we live this lifestyle every day. We're not just that typical big business that's trying to just make a quick dollar off of it.
Yeah.
We want this because we live it.
Right.
Exactly.
But I guess there's gonna be a vulture in every industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always that one guy sniffing his nose in there just to make some quick money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like you said, there's always people in every industry like that, but just don't work with them.
Yeah. I mean, you can only do so much to educate, right?
Yeah.
You know. So
Only some people want to be educated so much too.
that's true.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of getting back more to glass blowing, and then you for your backdrop and glass blowing. So like you said, you started out making kind of just spoons, hand pipes kind of thing.
Yeah, it's whatever I wanted. Yeah, it was real free and liberating at a young.
Yeah, kind of just the freedom to be able to make whatever you want. So how do you think your style, or more or less just like what you make, has changed now that you own your own shop and have your own market?
Well, I've become a much more versatile artist, being in retail and wholesale. I'm kind of on both sides of the market. Most people are usually just on the wholesale side of things, the manufacturing side.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was lucky enough to open up a gallery with one of my studios back in 2001. Yeah, 2001 we opened up. So my mother had a old barber shop on a piece of property that she had that she rented out to me for real cheap. It was super tiny. It was 300 square feet. So it was big enough. We had a bathroom. We had 2 glass blowing stations. I had a 150-pound dog, and I had a display case. And that was about all that fit in that building. But it was enough. All I wanted to do was blow glass, and that was my place to blow glass. I had no interest in being in retail, but since it was a storefront, it was on a public, a pretty major street right by a college, I was like, screw it, we'll do it. So that was kind of like learning like the seat of the pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, like my family's has a shoe repair store, which also had retail in it. But I always hated the retail side, so I never really learned it.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And I just wanted to blow glass. So my customers would come in and stop me from blowing glass, and they would buy something, but I was so pissed off because I had to stop. You know what I mean? Like, and the place was so small, I could actually literally, I could sit here blowing glass, and I could reach in, pull a pipe out, still blow glass, and leave $20 on the table. You know what I mean? Like,
not even break stride.
They come in and probably respect it, but he's a man of his craft,
It's on the hustle.
So I mean, as far as like being in retail, I was never really part of it, or it was never really a big interest of mine. So like, get back to the answer to your question of how's my style changed, or like I said, I've become more versatile because of that. The fact that there wasn't a place to get custom work done. You can go in and be like, hey, I want Scooby-Doo scratching his ear, looking cross-eyed at a fucking, butterfly in his nose. You couldn't get that anymore, but you come to me and I'll fucking make that for you somehow.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. And at the same time, someone comes in, they're like, oh, I need a set of 10 goblets for a wedding. It's like, I guess I'll do that too. You know what I mean? So like, learn to be adaptive, and learn to be versatile, and learn how to make lots of things.
Yeah. So you really took off with the custom works more or less.
Like I said, I would just take it as it would come.
Yeah.
Like my main goal was and still always is wholesale, because bulk.
Yeah.
That we make a lot, so we have to sell a lot. And like I also said, I'm not very good at retail. I wish I was better, because there's more profit in retail. But you can only do what you can.
I was about to say, you did what you could, and it worked out. That's kind of how it works in life. Is like you do what you can, and that's how it goes. But
You just keep pushing to the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
But you've been doing your thing in retail too. You have a lot of heady stuff in here.
Yeah. You got a good collection, for sure.
So-
A lot of good artists.
I've been checking this out the whole time. This piece on the table. You want to explain this work of art on the table here?
Sure. So this is a double bubbler kettle style with a climb mouthpiece.
There it is.
Myself and Jason Gordon, live for Jason Gordon, a good friend of mine. We made that together. He stopped down here just on a whim one time. There's actually more to this set. There's actually a dabber, a dish, a dome, and a work transition. So I just wanted to bring the bubbler out, because it's the kind of showstopper part of it.
Yeah.
I think the whole set is something like 47, 52 sections or something like that.
Damn. That's huge.
So he was in town because his wife was doing something for a couple of days, and he needed something to kill some time. So 3 days it took us to make the whole set, start to finish. No prep whatsoever. We made all the prep, made all the parts that during that session.
Yeah, so is it all like one piece, or did you make it out of
Like I said, so it's about 40-some to 50-some sections.
Okay.
The way that we kind of count that is all the individual. We don't really count the solid parts. It's kind of like a drum set. You only count the percussion parts. You only count the cymbals.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have shit ton of cymbals, right? But it's a 5-piece set. You might have 30 cymbals, 5-piece set. So you only count the worked section. So like this part, this part, this part, this part, stuff like that. So like each individual reversal ball. So we'll talk about this slide real quick. This slide is 3 sections. So we have the green part, which is a separate piece of tubing. We have this outer layer wigwag, which was a separate ball that we made, and then we have the inner reversal, which is a separate piece. So this slide is a 3-section slide.
Okay.
So if you kind of start looking, you can see the green, the brown,
Yeah.
the green, the brown, the green. Those are all individual sections.
Oh wow.
You can see right here, there's 2 sections welded together. And then this next section, there is 6 pieces welded together.
Yeah, see that line.
There's
detail there.
2
Line
right
detail.
here, another 2 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can see there's just a lot of work in just that master can.
Yeah.
So this was kind of, what year was this made? This was made in 2012, maybe 13. This was a weird part of glass history, because this was the transition from your big bong and your big bubbler into the oil network. And oil was so new, nobody really knew how to smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody was trying to smoke oil out of these massive bubblers,
Yeah.
these massive bongs. They just don't work because you smoke such a small amount that it gets lost in all the air mass. So that's why back in the day also we didn't know that you didn't use one pipe of oil, one pipe for weed.
Yeah.
So that's why we had all the attachments. You know what I mean? They would take that off, you put your dome on. So like we didn't really know how to smoke oil or what oil was going to become this huge phenomenon that it is now. So this is, I pulled this out because this is a representation of my era.
Okay.
The stuff that I liked to make, stuff that really caught my eye as a younger glass artist. this is a great blend between the two of our styles. Even though they look very similar, there's some very distinct things that make it different. For one, we can just take a look at this top section. You can kind of see how the color itself is a little smoother,
Yeah.
I want to say. That's because Jason, after he lays all, this is back when, before we did backstacks even, these are terms that you guys probably don't understand, but I'll get to later on. So this is when we used to line stripe tubing before we used to shove it in a tube and back it down. And so what he used to do is he used to roll it out and get all the color nice and smooth, and then he would case it clear. Where you can see this brown and green and black section, the lines are a little bit crisper, because what I like to do is I didn't mark it down and melt it smooth. I left the color ridges rough, and I filled in the trenches of clear, and it kind of gives it a slightly distinctive look. Even though we're doing the exact same techniques, comes out so different.
Yeah.
And this was also before glass artists really starting to define themselves by the objects that they made. What I mean by that you can start to think about artists such as like Elbow, or Coil, or Shelbo, or Joe P, or any of these artists. Shout out to the goats for sure. Elbow's known for his dinosaurs. He's a very skilled artist, and he used to make these cool pickles and pigs and almost all the really cool shit. He's like Warhol tanks. But he became known for his dinosaurs, right? Coil, again, super fucking awesome scientific glass artist, great sculptor. He became known for his monkeys and his gorillas and things of that nature. Shelbo is known for his goblins. Again, he's also another skilled artist. All these artists are very versatile.
Yeah.
But they get known for things.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm kind of for production. That's what we do here. We're a production house.
Yeah.
So this was kind of made back when it was like skill for skill, or say like you're on the ski slopes or you're at a skate park and you're going trick for trick with your friends. You know what I mean? That's kind of the era that this was made.
I kind of like that era a little more, honestly. It kind of brings out the artists, it brings out their talent more or less in a way that you can't really tell unless you really know glass.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little more refined than like you're saying, the creatures.
Yeah. So like nowadays, like a lot of people will send, they'll be known for like two things. They'll be known for a certain pipe style or a certain shape, and they'll also be known for a certain prep or color pattern. So what will start happening is people will send you prep, and then you turn that into your shape.
Yeah.
And then I'll send somebody else my color style prep, and they'll turn it into their shape. So that's kind of where collaborating.
I was about to say,
with
that's how
artists
collab
have
goes,
been going now.
Yeah,
So
it's
a little bit different, and it's cool. You know what I mean? It's just different. So this is just from a different era. That's why I wanted to bring out something that's super, super techy about this that you guys probably won't think is cool. Some other glass artists. This is what we call it. It's a Klein mouthpiece right
Yeah,
here.
we were looking at that before they started.
So a lot of people will look at this thing like, where's the hole? It's the donut. You smoke out a donut. And this whole freaking piece was held on. Jason Gordon was madman. This whole piece was held on with a piece of 32 cold seal the whole time. I mean, feel this, right?
Yeah,
So cold seals are very fragile seal that we use, where it's not quite bound to the glass, but it's strong enough to hold the glass, and it's supposed to break off really clean without any marks. And so just the whole time that he was doing this, I'm just like praying to God, kind of fingers crossed, oh please don't break, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the dude's a super fucking Jedi, fucking pulling that thing off, I gotta tell you.
I mean, it's crazy to watch you guys work. It really is. It's definitely a skill that you can tell is taking years of just practice and just, because it's second nature at that point. Like you're saying, it's almost like he's a Jedi. He doesn't have to think about it.
Oh man, it was really nerve-wracking, but it was super cool. So fucking cool to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I when I'm back there in the back of Prism, just watching you guys is super cool. A piece like this being made in front of insane.
Not for real.
3 days.
Yeah.
Yep, three 12-hour days.
Wow.
That's a piece for sure. It's the work you can definitely tell the work has been put into it.
For real. One of my favorite parts is the bowl, the little sun man.
Yeah,
Like,
so
what?
yeah.
So that's Cocopelli.
Okay.
So remember I was just saying how some people get known.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Jason Gordon is known for doing what he calls a smokapelli.
Okay, yeah.
So he'll do the Cocopelli, but he'll have a pipe coming out of it. Actually, I got a couple in the shop lying around, but so that's kind of what he's known for.
Awesome, yeah.
That's so dope.
Really dope. It adds like the whole personality. It's like the finishing touch to the piece.
Yeah.
For sure. So that piece is retailing for
The whole set's $2K.
$2K, yeah. So
Yeah, which is a very fair price for that.
definitely a heady piece for sure. What would you say do you have a favorite piece you've ever made?
That I ever made?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, on my business card,
Okay.
there's a piece that I made that I call the agreement, and it's a double hand shaking an angel's hand, and they're both dry pipes, and they interlocked, and they kind of, I don't have it anymore. I sold it, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
But
for the right price.
yeah, it was the strangest thing too. This guy was in from Chicago. He was here for like 2 days. I don't even know, he's a younger dude. He's like, oh, I'm just here on business or whatever. Walked in the shop randomly. He's like, oh, just see what you guys are doing. Walked over to the piece. He's like, how much is that? I'm like, oh, it's 24. He's like, wrap it up.
Okay.
Who are you?
Yeah,
What kind of business you do?
that's hilarious. No, that's hilarious. It's always great having those customers come in.
Yeah, just random. So random.
Yeah, so Prism is on 20 years, 21st year this year.
Yeah.
So you've been the owner the whole time.
Yeah.
How's that been? Just being in Troy and just the local community. Just you host Troy Night Out most Friday nights every month. So
Yeah. We've been in Troy actually for the entire tenure of our career here, our business. We did try and relocate to Albany at one point in time. I'm gonna throw them on the bus right now. After many years of applications and legal fees, lawyer fees,
I
and
know
business
how that is,
scouting
yeah,
and
for
all
sure.
that, and 3 zoning boards. We finally got passed, but they weren't going to allow me to make or sell any type of pipe.
What?
Like that's the majority of my business.
I was about to say what? Yeah.
They're like, well, you misrepresented the amount of pipes that you sell. I'm like, whether it's 10% or 90%, I can't. You're saying I can't do it. I'm like, what? So,
Yeah. What?
So we came back to Troy. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Do you guys want to buy another building in our city? You want to keep
Exactly.
keep giving taxes to us? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So we only had one stipulation with Troy, and that's had to be in a single-story block structure, which was extremely
That's hard to find in Troy.
really hard to
Everything's
find.
like 3 stories out. Yeah.
So luckily we found this place.
Yeah.
And this place we had to do a full rehab. We had to pour concrete. I think we put about 12 inches of concrete to make it level because this building was originally a 3-story building, and there's some weird rule if you don't build above the foundation level, or I don't know, some weird 90s, 80s tax thing the guy was trying to get around. So it was actually like below level a little bit.
Okay.
So we had to,
Fill that in.
so we also had to make it handicap accessible, and the only option is we had to build all these ramps everywhere.
Yeah.
So we put a bunch of concrete in this and brought it up to street level. But this building's been great, and since we've been downtown, we've been able to be a part of the downtown festivities, such as Troy Night Out, which is our monthly open house and city art walk. And we try and bring in a different artist every month, glass and canvas or graffiti or
Yeah.
whatever.
I've been to a couple of those events.
yeah,
It's
we
always cool when you guys bring in like the visual artists.
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
We try and have live music and stuff, and we open up the doors and try and bring it to the sidewalk and things like that. And the original idea of it was, you gotta remember, this was 10 years ago, 12 years ago we opened up, and weed was still pretty frowned upon.
Yeah.
It was only a few years after Operation Pipe Dreams. so things were still kind of sketchy. And my whole idea was to bring what we do into a positive light that allowed the community to see it in a friendly
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
and just like just a
I
positive,
completely,
light.
I completely understand that too. That's yeah, exactly. It's all about making not more or less making people understand, but kind of just showing them that it's an art. It's
Right.
It's not just what your perception was of it before.
Exactly. Just trying to change the image that everyone has.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
So, and we did a pretty good job of that. We would have people come in and we would have lace face here.
Yeah.
And she'd be behind the torch just slaughtering it and people were like, oh shit, women can do this too? It's like, not only can women do it, but she's also one of the highest paid women in the freaking industry, It's like,
They'd be great at it too.
yeah,
for sure.
Like, and then we have people like Bertoni come in and he makes flamingos, and he's a wild man. He just really likes the crowd. He'll get people going.
Yeah.
And he'll,
It's always great. Yeah.
he finished his piece and gave a public speech like, oh, thank you everybody. What I mean? He just it's just
It's a
fun.
good time. Yeah, it's always a fun time. Yeah, just doing your thing on a Friday night. Yeah, for sure. We're all about the community too. We do the local pop-ups and everything.
Yeah.
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 So kind of getting into more of us working together.
Yeah.
We recently, today actually was the day we dropped the ash catchers. Phil's the man behind the OG and the reverse.
Man, those things are cool.
Yeah, the reverse ash catchers. We brought those back today too. Yeah, Benny owns one personally. I have like 3 or 4 OGs, but I don't have a stem line for the reverse I can use, unfortunately. So I'm getting one soon. Because I need the whole set.
I think we got a couple stem lines lying around.
Yeah, maybe I do have a Prism stem line. But I have an OG for it that matches it with the red accent that I really love. So I kind of just, I've been rocking that, and the OG's good on whatever. So
Yeah.
But so the OG, the gravity bongs too, Phil's behind those. We recently did the drop where we have the sandblasted on the outside. We've kind of really been pushing the designs with the sandblasting for sure.
These things are cool, man.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, the first time you came in with that design, I was like, this is the most bizarre thing that I've heard of. But I saw the videos of your functions on it, and it's a cool design, man.
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, we really got a lot of positive feedback too. It's kind of it's kind of just like our twist on the classic. Everyone's taking a water bottle gate at some point.
The amount of gravity bombs I made at parties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's your on the go smoking thing. If
We
you're not
sent
gonna
one to a representative at Leaf Flea magazine. She keeps them in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're right there. Like cup holder, right?
Cup holder.
It's kind of like everyone has their own personal connection to the Jeep at one point or another. So we wanted to make our own twist on it, and it's honestly like you're saying, it's a great design. You can pack it all up, fit it, bring it on the go, and it's also just it's a different kind of rip too. If you're used to ripping the bong all the time, one gravity bong rip and I'm out from that thing. Like it really hits. Yeah.
Hits you differently.
Yeah, for sure. So we got the ash catchers, the gravity bongs, and now the highly anticipated. Everyone's been asking forever now. The first chronic bongs are coming soon.
Coming.
So
R&D starts this week.
Okay, yeah. So just getting started on the process. Are you excited for those?
I am, yeah. I actually got a couple of good designs. So.
Yeah. We've been working on them for years now, so we're super excited. We're kind of gonna, test the waters a little bit like we always do our limited drops. Make sure we get it right. But then when we do get it right, we do plan on, doing our thing.
Blowing it up.
Exactly. We're all about. Me personally, I really, when I first started, when we first started Chronic, it was kind of just, the cannabis company, the lifestyle brand. But then the glass kind of, it kind of just took its own hold. We really got into the glass and being able to work with Prism so hands-on. It kind of just, we have our own glass Instagram now. It's kind of its own part of the company. So
really, it's just been like a big snowball effect. Like right as we started, it's just continuously growing, got more popular. That's for sure. Glass has honestly been a huge hit lately.
Yeah. Even the slides too. All of it is just.
Yeah, those slides are dope, man.
Yeah.
Give the guy a shout out real quick.
So all the slides are made by my guy, Papa P Glass. He is out in Idaho. He does a lot of stuff on Instagram. I met him through Instagram, kind of just I was following him for a while and just checking out his stuff, and he does a lot of like you're saying with the individual artist kind of thing. He does a lot of slides that will have creatures on them, or not really creatures. The slide itself will look like a creature, so
Sure.
it'll have like an eyeball in it, some horns kind of thing. And yeah, and so we I really saw what he was doing. I really liked it, and I wanted to do slides. And Phil does a lot for us, and he does a lot. He's busy, like you said, with the wholesale. He does everything. So we kind of wanted to not really work with someone else, but just get a new taste to it almost. And the slides, like you said,
he brought some good flavor to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of really worked out. Like I said, I was looking at his page forever, kind of thinking we should work with him because it was really just. We're all about the quality and getting things right. So we're glad this is the first drop we did of the slides. We're really glad that it worked out. Definitely going to continue to work with him in the future. Keep pushing the limits on what we can do for the designs. I've been following him, like I said, for a while. So I've been noticing his development and his skill taking off. He's really getting into it. And he does auctions all the time on his Instagram. Go check out his Instagram if you're ever trying to have a fire slide. He does a lot of that. So on that note, I think we're gonna start to wrap it up here. This weekend we have an event in New York City, Queens, New York City. I forget the event center it's at, but it's Drip City Market, another sneaker convention. We have a pop-up shop in Massachusetts later this month at the new Off of It Gallery in Lee, Massachusetts. New Stacker Starve restock. For those who've been following us since day one, the Stacker Starve.
Really do it at Off It in Lee.
So Off of It is just it's one of my homies' brands. He does a lot of it's a clothing brand, but he does a lot of unique stuff too, like just artistic pieces. It's kind of hard to explain. He really
is it a brick and mortar? Is it a store?
So it started out online.
Yeah.
It started out with just him doing his thing with his brand, like clothing releases, limited stuff, really just trippy designs. That
Cool.
is what he does. The brand Off of It, the name is kind of like you're off of something, you're off of it.
Right.
Not really thinking, you're thinking more elevated kind of thinking. I really think it's a dope concept with the brand. I have one of his pairs of shorts that he's dropped. I have a pair of slides. I love his stuff, but he just opened a store. I think it was in March last month, and I was at the grand opening. The store came out really nice. His vision for the store too. He has a lot of reselling of high-end stuff too. It's kind of like a
awesome.
It's a whole brand. It's a whole lifestyle with it. So yeah. We're excited, and we have a collab coming up with him.
Something like that.
Yeah. He's from out there too. So it's kind of he's doing his local thing, like we're doing our local thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a collab coming up soon. We're talking about. So we're super excited to we like working with a lot of local people. It's all about the community. It's all about reaching out.
Give us another rundown of the pop-ups.
Yeah. So we got one more. One huge one this year. Our second annual Prism pop-up will be here in Prism Glassworks. Super excited for that. We don't have a set date yet, but we're thinking sometime maybe in the late summer, early fall kind of thing. We'll feel it out. Maybe we'll do, something else with the pop-up. I don't even know.
Maybe we'll do it for a try out this summer.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get the whole thing popping. For sure.
Just get it all rolling.
I'm excited. We got tons of events coming up with Chronic, licensing, releasing soon in New York State, looking at possible retail locations. So the ball is rolling.
Absolutely, a whole lot of big moves to be made in the near future. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Big moves. We love big moves.
Exactly. Always doing our thing. Always pushing quality. So that's what we're all about. And so I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Cool.
Thank you to
Hey,
Phil Sundling
thanks for having me, man.
helping out.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Giving
Thanks
us
for
some
having me.
knowledge.
Yeah.
A little backstory. It's always great to learn more about
Absolutely.
what makes the
I look
magic
forward to
happen.
making some more bongs for you
Yeah,
guys.
we're hyped. For sure, run it up. So thank you for tuning in to Chronic Cannabis Company's first podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely.
Take it easy.
Bless your
Stay
lungs.
high. Bless your lungs.